Izuku Midoriya and the young superheroes of UA High School return for a third season of My Hero Academia. The superhero hype train has returned, my friends. My Hero Academia is back. And we have here a very pleasant episode, which I have to admit is slightly disappointing, as the episode itself is mostly a recap of the major events of the series, but considering that this is not a weekly anime show, I honestly think this is kind of a necessary evil, and it's also going to be a great springboard for those who want to jump on the series at this point. And if you're not watching My Hero Academia, what's wrong with you? Check it out. This show is just fantastic and makes you feel good, and it also has one of the most likable cast of characters that I've ever seen, and this episode right here was a perfect case for that. But what's also really cool about this episode is that it immediately picks up at the end from the second season. So we immediately get to see what's going to be happening next. The students are still going to be going to a summer training camp where things are going to get rough, and the villains might get involved as well, as even though this is a recap episode, there are some moments for story and just to spend some time with these characters again. But the biggest story takeaway from this episode is that they are prepping the students to go to this summer camp, and they're also going to change the location of this camp, as some of this information might have got leaked, and the League of Villains might actually decide to ambush this entire training sequence, which, let's face it guys, that's an inevitability, especially how the episode ended with Tomura Creepy Shigaraki talking on the phone with some sort of confidant who is either a mole inside of UA High School or just someone who is able to get all of this information leaked to them about this summer training camp. I can't wait to see how it's going to happen, as the intro, the new intro for the third season, is so freaking hype. Not only is the song just really great, but the imagery is just awesome, and all of the new looks of the villains are just great. It's so refreshing to see like a lot of brand new adversaries in the show, and they all have these just amazing designs. A lot of them that we were seeing in the second season look like they're going to be involved in this one as well, like that one creepy chick who's wearing the high school uniform, and she also appears to be in the intro wearing some sort of Bane mask. The fire rises, my friends! Basically, I cannot wait to see these guys in action, but most of this episode is recap, going over the major events of the series, reintroducing the characters, establishing what their quirks are again. But the main story of the episode actually revolves around the fact that all of the students are bored, they want to do some training, and of course they want to cool off, so they decide to get permission to use the school's pool. Now, initially, this is just something that the girls of the class planned, but the super pervy Denki and Minoru decided to team up together, and they overheard this, and they wanted to ambush them so that they could ogle them. And in their minds, they imagined that they were going to be wearing elaborate bathing suits that you would see at the beach. No, they're actually just wearing the normal school uniforms, much to the chagrin of Denki, but Minoru will take anything that he can get. But they drag Izuku Midoriya in this because they need some credibility to get permission, which I think is really funny. But when they arrive there, they get to see that the entire class is already there, and they're all being led by Tenya Ida, my favorite character from the series, who again demonstrates that he is just this amazing mixture of both lame and awesome all at the same time. He's wearing a diver's cap, a bathing cap, he's got his goggles on, he's so serious about being at the pool, and of course still being the class representative, and doing it with a lot of class. Like I said, there's something funny about his character for being so incredibly lame, but also someone you can really look up to as well. And this is the rest of the episode right here, is just watching all of the characters have fun at the pool, do some training, the girls frolic while the guys do a lot of races. In fact, one of the coolest things about this episode is when they all decide to have a 50-meter race, and they don't establish any like ground rules. They all use their quirks when they actually do this, and some of them straight up cheat, like Katsuki Bakugo, who just jumps over with his massive explosions, or Todoroki, who just slides across with his ice. There's a really great tense scene where Izuku and Tenya are actually racing against one another, and Tenya is using his super speed with Izuku Midoriya using the full cowling to transform his body into something that's nigh indestructible so he can move even faster. It's comparable to watching Superman and the Flash race. It's just really cool, and Izuku actually manages to win, and it comes down to a three-way race between Izuku, Katsuki, and Todoroki. The big three as far as I am concerned. If we want to throw Tenya in there, it's the big four. These are the characters that I look out for the most, and right as soon as their battle starts, they start to power up all of their quirks, you're getting all hyped, and then suddenly Aizawa Eraserhead comes in, gets rid of their quirks, he says it's 5 p.m., you're not allowed to stay at the pullout anymore, get out of here. It's just classic stuff right here. But it was just sort of an excuse to be reintroduced to these characters, to see their fun and quirky personalities, no pun intended. Really, it was just a great demonstration for why I love these characters. But like I said, there's a little bit of teasing for what's going to be happening later on, and even at the end of the episode, we get a nice little reunion between Izuku and All Might as they meet up at their old training spot, Dagobah Beach. So, what's the rundown on this episode of My Hero Academia? Season 3 is here, and I could not be more excited. Even if they opened the season with a recap episode, I'm completely okay with, because they at least supplemented it with enough new material, and they also reminded me yet again that I love these characters. Can't get enough of them. That's always been my favorite thing about My Hero Academia, is that the characters are just so lovable in every single way, except for maybe Yuga. I'm still not a big fan of the freaking belly button laser boy. I don't know, he just turns me off. He's the type of anime stereotype that I've seen way too many times. That being said, even with how much he annoys me, I still think he's a really fun character. I particularly loved the scene in the episode where when he's in the race in the pool, he just tries to fly across, but ends up like smacking right into Hanta, who's trying to Spider-Man his way across the pool. It's really funny slapstick stuff that I just love from this show. I also really loved all the little small moments of Tomura Shigaraki and Uragiri. Even they were getting in on the whole recap game, though. They were sort of bringing up all of the major events from the first and second season. And since this is a season show, it does it like once a year, I'm okay with recaps as long as they at least give us a couple minutes of new material, and we did get that in this episode. It's not like a super big epic fight or anything, and it's not the introduction of a brand new major villain, but for what it is, it's a great way to get excited, primed, and to remind the viewers why this show is becoming one of the biggest anime sensations. It's My Hero Academia, and it was another fantastic episode, and I cannot wait for the rest. Honestly, guys, it's hard for me to contain my excitement from My Hero Academia, as the more I see it, the more I get excited. I need to stress as well that I only watch the anime version. I do not read the manga, so all of this is very surprising to me. I'm sure there's a point where I will want to start reading the manga, but to be perfectly honest, as long as they keep releasing like one season a year, I think I'd much rather just watch it in anime form, as there is nothing more exciting than watching an anime series and not knowing what's going to happen. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of twists and surprises as we go to the summer training camp. These new villains are probably going to intervene in some way, not to mention I just can't wait to see these guys go through the ringer again, as they've built up this training camp experience as being something that's going to be really harsh and hardcore. So can't wait to see it. As far as production value goes for this episode, it's just like the rest of the series. It's clean, it's consistent, it's very bright, it's very beautiful. It's not going super crazy yet, but for what it is, it's consistent, and I like that. And the character designs are all so unique. Not one character resembles another, and that's what I love about it. It makes it so that you remember every single one. And even though, like I said, this was a recap, and there were even some moments that maybe went on too long, like explaining the quirks of every single character, like I said, I do think it's important for new viewers and for the fact that this is a yearly show. But we got tons of funny material in this. We got a little bit of fan service if you're into that kind of thing. And we got some really cool pool races. Not to mention some hype building for the next arc of the series. And even all the villains and cool things you see in the intro. Guys, I loved this episode, even though it was a recap. But it was still a recap. And that is why I'm going to give this episode of My Hero Academia a 4 out of 5. Another solid addition to the franchise, and if you are following this show, you definitely need to check this one out. You heard my thoughts about the episode. I'd love to hear yours. Tell me all of them in the comments section below. Are you hyped for Season 3? What did you think of the brand new intro? Do you like any of the cool new villains who have showed up in that intro? And what was your favorite scene from this week's episode, and what do you hope to see from the rest of the third season of My Hero Academia. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, Pras!